to tame me. You can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. Feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, go like thunder, gonna shake the ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hi, my name is Wyatt Milam, and I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home in Canova, you will find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that golden boot pride at Parmar. There are literally hundreds of Parmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Parmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Parmar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
And if there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
We got a great opportunity. We've got a dandy out there waiting on us. Offense, play fast. Simon free, man. Defense, swarm. Swarm and tackle. Punch that ball at every chance you get and keep busting. Special teams, lay it on the line. Attack's your responsibility. Attack. We got to out-block them. We got to out-tackle them. We got to out-hit them and hustle. It's real simple. You out-block them, you out-tackle them, you out-hit them, and you out-hustle. Sir. And you stay within the legal limits of the game. It's Mountaineer pride. Nothing cheap. From the heart. Straining. Damn, I'm proud to be with you. I'm proud to be with you. I picked you a good one, didn't I? Huh? We got a good one. We were going to out-strain and I'll hit these guys. Let them know. Leave no doubt tonight. Leave no doubt tonight. No doubt. They shouldn't have played the old gold and blue. Not this night. Yes, sir. Not this night. Don't leave your wingman ever, ever, ever bail out on your brother. You help, you strain, and you just fight. Start fast. Stay on top of them. It's a game, lad. Let's have fun and go get us a big victory.
Yep. Leave no doubt. I love Coach Bill Stewart. And in his memory, played that. One of the greatest speeches of all time. And I tell you what, I've heard a lot of great speeches at WVU. Don Nalen. I've heard Rich Rod. I heard Coach Stu, obviously that one right there. Sends the chills right through me. Leave no doubt. Don't mess with the Mountaineers. Leave no doubt. Don't mess with because we'll kick your can. And I looked at all those guys in there that I've been associated with that I coached, helped coach. I see them. I see Scooter. I see Jules. I see Pat White. I see Schmitty. The runaway beard truck. I see, great guys in that locker room. And that was a special night. I was there. And I'm going to tell a story, quick story. Bill Stewart hired me out of Phoenix College, Phoenix, Arizona. And he thinks I was a madman. He thinks I was a total madman. And I'm going to tell you this. Heck, I may have been. But I know that when that time came and Coach Bill Stewart came out there in Arizona, I was out there. Of course, that was the Fiesta Bowl playing Oklahoma. And I was out there every day at practices, and just something took over me and said, Wolf, you need to go back home. You need to go back home. And so I did. I went, and when the game was over, Bill Stewart was hired as the head football coach of the Mountaineers. So happy for him. Really, so happy for him. Proud of him. Great guy, great dude, tough dude. I mean, so many people, you see that fiery speech right there. So many people don't understand it. He would chew your can out and give you a big hug afterwards. But he was tough. He was tough. And he coached tough. And he demanded toughness and every bit of what you got. That team won against a superiorly talented team in Oklahoma because they were tougher. And they punched Oklahoma right in the mouth. Right in the mouth. I don't think anyone's going to beat them that night. I think that team was a little bit pissed off. Just a little bit. And that's okay. And I wanted to play that in memory of Bill Stewart. He gave me my first job. I flew in. I almost beat the team back. And I said, Coach, I'm here. He's like, Wolf, what are you doing? I just left you. Just left you in Arizona. I said, I have a calling to come back to WVU. And he's like, you crazy. Okay, well, let's go out there. And we went to a restaurant. We had lunch and we talked about it. And I told him about my vision, my hopes, my future, what I wanted for WVU and how I wanted to come back and be a part. And I was able to do so. And it was really cool. And I moved my whole family all the way from Phoenix, Arizona to WVU, Morgantown, so I could be part of Bill Stewart's staff. That's how much Bill Stewart means to me. Doesn't mean it was an easy road. It was tough. It didn't end the way we all wanted it to. And I'm going to tell you this. I love Bill Stewart. Thank you, Coach, for getting my job. Thank you for being a great Mountaineer. Thank you for leaving us with your legacy of 4 seasons, with that victory over Oklahoma and all those players. Bill Stewart is a man of many talents, many talents. I'm going to tell you one quick story. Every day, Mike Joseph, Saturday, hired Mike Joseph. Imagine Mike Joseph went through all these regimes. Dana Holgerson, Bill Stewart, Rich Rod, and just went through all these regimes after Mike Bowers left for Rich Rod. Okay, so and Mike came on, and of course he's here with Neil today. And every lunch hour, I had to go running out there because I wanted to play my model or heavy metal, that old network on Sirius Radio, Metal Network, bang your head kind of stuff. And then Stu would come out and he'd be like, "Hey, Wolf." He goes, "Oh," he'd get the oldies on there and he'd get in there and he'd be like, "This is how you work out, Wolf." He's like, "Woo, woo, woo, woo." And Bill Stewart. He was amazing. Every time he gave me the old wink. Wolf, that's it. We're not going to listen to your heavy metal crap. We're going to listen to the good old oldies. We're going to work out. We're going to go, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it was pretty darn amazing. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And there's nothing better. So, Bill Stewart, thinking of you this weekend, giving you props for everything up there, man. So cool that you were the head coach. So cool that you hired me and brought me back to WVU, and the memories that I've had because of you, and all the good times and the important things and the things that you taught me as well. I learned a lot from you. You're a mentor and just another one of the great coaches at WVU that I got to learn from and do some cool things. So, Bill Stewart, thank you very much. And all memories. Blaine is on staff right now. Love it that Blaine's down there, and that is so cool. So cool. So it's very fitting, and so glad that he's back on staff. So let's go rock and roll. And it's Monday, and you know what that means. It can only mean one thing, and that, of course, is the Frank Fear Hour. But before we jump into the Frank Fear Hour, I got something here that's pretty cool. I'm going to show you this. Artisan Grades, WolfManDip.com. You see these QR codes right there? Yeah. Guess who figured out how to do QR codes? You go ahead and get on there. Hey, you want to kiss your girl, man, you want to kiss your special someone, don't be there with tobacco, nicotine, all that crap. You got to go to Artisan Grange Company, the hemp company. It's hemp. 2,700 years of all the Asians using the hemp, Great product for me. I like it myself. I like the way it tastes. I like how it takes that hunger, that addiction of nicotine, that addiction of tobacco away from you. It did for me. I'm not saying I think it does for most people. Okay, you can go ahead, get away from the nicotine, get away from the tobacco. It's crap. It's not good for you. It's been proven, right? It hurts you. So go ahead, right there, Artisan Grange hemp dip. You can get it at Par Mar stores, your local Par Mar store. 5 states, Par Mar stores that obviously represents the WolfMan's call. Yep. And of course, you go to wolfmandiphere.com. You can hit the QR code, man. Oh, I love it. All right, there we go. Let's get it with Frank Fear. It's the Frank Fear Hour, and he's got a great story. It includes about Jim Brown. It's pretty good in the history. I think, passing of Jim Brown too as well. So what a great loss. What a great loss. This story is absolutely unbelievable. You're only going to hear it here on the WolfMan's Call and the Frank Fear Hour. And continuing on the show, it is 3:10. That's 3 o'clock on Monday. You know what that means. It can only mean one thing, the Frank Fear Hour. And we have author of the Band of Brothers Then and Now, Mr. Frank Fear. Frank, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Wolfman. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, I got my props this week. I didn't forget it. But I know you got some really good stuff today, and it's really in timing with the passing of Jim Brown. But we talked the first time about Bobby Bowden and sitting on a lead. And last week we talked about the history of football and your passion and getting this week. What are we going to talk about it on this segment, man?
Well, actually, there's a link to the Band of Brothers, the guys that played 1966 to 70. They didn't play against Jim Brown, but they followed Jim Brown. And everybody's talking about Jim Brown and his passing. Last week, you've probably read a number of articles. I certainly have. So what I thought I'd do is I want to end with a story that is quite surprising. It's a head shaker about Jimmy Brown at Syracuse University. But I also want to talk about WVU in Syracuse because they played 2 times when Jimmy Brown was at Syracuse. WVU played them twice. Unfortunately, lost twice in 1955 and 1956 when Brown was a junior and a senior. Close games both times. But as we've talked, Pappy Lewis and the Mountaineers were great in the 1950s. And so what I'd like to do is to start with the 1955 team. And WVU had a juggernaut. I mean, here are some of the players on that 55 team. Freddie Wyatt was at quarterback. Joe Marconi was out of the backfield. Gene Lathy, Chuck Howley, Sam Huff, Bruce Bosley. My God, what a lineup, Wolfman. I mean,
you're not kidding.
Oh, those guys. I knew them living in, actually, I was born in Syracuse. I was an Orange fan. Actually, they're the Orangemen back then. And so I grew up having been born in Syracuse, moving to Batavia, New York to the west. Growing up, I was a big Syracuse fan. And of course, I'm old enough that I actually remember Jimmy Brown and the old Archbold Stadium with the cement seats. Unbelievable. But in 1955, I'll tell you what, WVU was ready to go to the Sugar Bowl. The Sugar Bowl reps were at Pitt Stadium in 1955. Mountaineers were highly ranked, number 6, and there were like 60,000 people there that day. And what happened was, this is eerie. Freddie Wyatt, the quarterback, great quarterback, Hall of Fame quarterback, WVU Hall of Fame, went out early with an injury, and Pitt beat West Virginia. I think it was 27-6. And WVU went into the game 7-0. The next week was Syracuse at home. Now, if anybody's been following John Antonick, you know he's been writing this week about an incredible story for that 1956 game because the guys, the defensive guys, wanted to show Jimmy Brown who was boss. And so let me give you a little bit of a tidbit here and check your history. can you tell me who were the place kickers in that game in 1955 for WVU and Syracuse? Do you have any idea who those place kickers were, Wolfman? You'll never guess.
No.
Okay. Jimmy Brown for Syracuse.
Okay.
And Sam Huff for West Virginia. Can
I
you
was gonna
believe
say,
that?
wait a minute. I was going to say, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, those two guys were the place kickers. So, as John tells the story, and it's a true story, is that Sam Huff and others went to Pappy Lewis on the sideline and said, let's kick the ball to Jim Brown. Jim Brown fielded punts, and he also was the kickoff specialist. So other teams and also WVU in the past would kick away from him because he was so good at what he did. What a runner. But they wanted to kick it to him to show they're going to get him. And so they did. Pappy Lewis said, let's do it. And again, I'm not telling the story alone. This is John Antonic. They kicked it to him. He didn't score a touchdown, but he went 70 yards. But that was basically the best he did that day. That game was in Morgantown. He had about 85 yards. But West Virginia lost that game too, 20-13. And so on the verge of getting a Sugar Bowl bid, WVU ends the season with 2 losses. But it still was a great team. And then in 1956, the team wasn't as good as it was in 1955. They mastered the Southern Conference, as Mountaineers did in those days. But they lost to, my God, what a schedule it was. But they lost to Pitt, they lost to Syracuse, they lost to Penn State, and they lost to Miami. Now, that loss to Penn State is notable because, and Mountaineer fans, I'm sure know this, that for 3 years leading up to the 56 game, West Virginia beat Penn State 3 years in a row, 3 consecutive years in a row, but lost the 56 game. Now, in that game, Jimmy Brown had his way, scored 2 touchdowns, had 165 yards, and a 7.5 yard average in 22 carries. And the real problem that day was he had twice as many rushing yards as WVU runners had combined. And so it was and again, it was a close game. It went into the 4th quarter. West Virginia lost that game by 1 touchdown. And so both games were close. And those are the 2 times that Jimmy Brown played against West Virginia. Now, the story I want to tell you is a little known story that I think is the moral is for all of us. We all know how good Jimmy Brown was. And in fact, I've got his stats here that I want to read. When he played for the Cleveland Browns, this is a guy that had a 9-year career with the Cleveland Browns from 57 to 65. He rushed for nearly 12,500 yards, scored over 100 touchdowns. He was the NFL Rookie of the Year, 8-time first-team All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler, 3-time Pro Bowl MVP, and he was named NFL Player of the Year 4 times and led the league in rushing 8 times. And all of that, Wolfman, almost didn't happen. Now, Jim Brown was born in Georgia, raised on Long Island, played for Manhasset High School on Long Island. He was an incredible multi-sport star there. Incredible basketball and football, 2 sports that he played, others too. Wanted to go to Syracuse. Wasn't offered a scholarship. The reasons you can speculate, I don't know. So what happened is this. There were a number of Syracuse University alums who lived in Manhasset. And one of the guys in particular, and I have his name right here, long since passed. His name was Ken Malloy, a lawyer. So now the head coach of Syracuse at the time, another WVU link, Ben Schwartzwalder, who played his football in Morgantown. He was a lineman. Anyway, they go to him and they say, look, this Jimmy Brown is the real deal. First year, no scholarship for Jimmy Brown. So Ken Malloy, the attorney, pays his tuition. So the Brown's now at Syracuse, right? They continue to lobby Schwartzwalder. A group goes from Long Island to Syracuse in central New York. They finally talk Ben Schwartzwalder into give this guy a football scholarship. So what happens? This is a mind-blowing story. He says, okay, he's our defensive end. He's going to play defensive end because in those days, he was 6'2", 240. Okay, we're going to play the line. As luck would have it, the halfback, fullback became injured. And who takes over? But Jimmy Brown. He gets his chance. And so when you think about what he did over his career, I've got his numbers here. Let me see if I can find them. Anyway, he scored 21 touchdowns over his 3 years at Syracuse. He's gained over 2,200 yards in rushing and pass receiving, and he's an All-America. But that's not the end of the Jimmy Brown story. Okay. Jimmy Brown was a multi-sport star. He played Orange, back then, Orangemen. They had changed their name in 2004 to Orange. He started for the basketball team and played 2 years for the Orangemen basketball team, men's basketball team, averaging 13 points a game.
Wow.
And there's more.
Well, no, I bet you Jim Boeheim was the coach then too.
Almost. I mean, I think he played for the Orange. I can't remember the years he played, but my God, he was there like 55 years between playing and so on. Yeah, exactly. So Jimmy Brown goes out for lacrosse his senior year. He's All-America in the fall in football. He's All-America in lacrosse in the spring. And he's the number 2 scorer in the country in lacrosse. So he's a 2-time All-America at Syracuse his senior year, football and lacrosse, right? And I read a number of articles that still argue by analysts that if he's not the best college lacrosse player of all time, he's certainly in the ranks of the best college lacrosse players.
Wow.
And the moral of this story is, when you look at Jimmy, the way he ended up, Wolfman, you say, well, this guy, must have been a tremendous high school player. They couldn't wait for him to get to Syracuse. The fact of the matter was he had to have guys in his corner, people in his corner, who lobbied for him that were willing to pay his first year at Syracuse and then keep on really encouraging the head coach at the time to give this guy a chance. And when they finally got Schwartzwalder to agree, look what happened. Look, he rewrote history, both in college football, in multiple sports, and of course with the NFL. And, anybody who has ever watched any of the NFL films and watched Jimmy Brown run, if he wasn't the most graceful runner in college football history, I really don't know who is. So I think that's a mind-blowing story and a moral to all of us. Just keep at it. Close your ears if people are negative. Have confidence in yourself and just be perseverant.
Well, you know what? I think you're right on there. All right. Well, that was Frank Fair. I'm going to cut that just a little bit short. I want to make sure we got the Jim Brown story in there. Is that amazing? I mean, to think that Jim Brown, the alumni, had to go ahead and pay for him for the first scholarship. Unbelievable. Can you imagine that not happening, not having a Jim Brown in our lives that we could look up to and be one of the forthright runners? And he meant so much to so many for so many different reasons. But all in all, he was legit a great. He's a great dude as well. It's very sad of his passing. Thank you, Frank Fear. That was the Frank Fear Hour, and I cut you short a little bit there, but we'll play next week. We'll get back there because this is talking about a sports column. But right now, I have waiting with me. Hey, when a head coach comes on and he's sitting there and he's being really nice and he's waiting patiently, well, what are you going to do? I have West Virginia State University head coach and Mountaineer, and you know the catch, right? Remember the catch? We all remember the catch. That's right. John Pennington. Hello, head coach John Pennington, and welcome to the WolfMan's call.
Hey, what's up, Wolf? Thanks for having me on, man. I was excited when you reached out to me. Been wanting to come on here.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. The first thing you would have said, I really want to go on the WolfMan's call. No, everybody does it. It's amazing. What can I say, brother? But regardless, I know that you got so much going on, and you're turning this into your 7th year at WVSU, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So number one is have you already broken the records for winning? I mean, you're like 27 and 21. They haven't had a winning season until you came along, and since probably way back when. How's it going, and how's this transition been happening? And has it been tough? Has it been easy? Has it been par for the course?
It's been kind of one step at a time. Like you said, we kind of, when we took over, we had a program that had won in a long time, which has its negatives, but also has its benefits. We were able to rebuild it the way we wanted to, and build the culture and build it the right way. And a team that was tough and connected and all about, family environment, very similar to the Mountaineer environment that I, grew up in as far as becoming a student athlete. So it's been hard. It's been great. It's been really hard. It's been really great. It's up and down, just like anything in life. And anytime you do anything worthwhile, there's going to be adversity. There's going to be difficulties, but just like as a student athlete, you push through, you find solutions, and you keep moving forward. And anytime you have, the backing that we have from the administration, our athletic director, you look at the whole athletic department, the athletic department as a whole, every sport is doing better, improving facilities, players, grades. I mean, it's not just one person. It's the whole team here at West Virginia State. And that's why I love being here. I love being home. And, I can't wait to continue to keep building this thing. We've been good, but we haven't been great. And that's the next step is us, to get from good to great.
I can kind of relate with you a little bit, John, because when I took over Phoenix College as the head football coach of junior college, and it was probably the worst junior college football team in the country. Now, we were the best women's softball team in junior college in the country. They had better facilities over right next to us at the softball field, but that's probably why I got the head coaching job. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I got this one.
Yeah, well, you know what? There's some good stuff to that, but you really have to think about how you go about and what your strategy is going to be, because some strategies obviously were not working there before, and you have to change that. What did you think about? What did you come up with to really go ahead and push us forward? Dude, you got a winning record. I mean, you may have not been great as you want to be yet, and that's still hopefully to come, but you've been pretty good, and you've really lifted this program way up.
Well, it was all about changing the culture, and we're all about, I love being part of a team. Like, I don't care what my role is, head coach, scout team, I don't care. Like, I just want to be part of something bigger than me. So that's one thing that we pushed was the team concept, but it's the mental part of the game and life. I mean, that's what I'm here to teach. No one's going to remember my record. I mean, you have to look it up. No one knows that I'm 27-1. I didn't even know that. But people are going to remember how I made them feel, how I impacted them in a positive way, helped change their perspective and made a positive impact. So we want to work on the mental aspect. Mental toughness is something that we not only preach, but emphasize on a daily basis, how to control your emotions, how to handle adversity, how to handle success, how to, not get caught up in, the things that you can't control, just things that help you in life. Now, I do believe that'll help us win close games, and it definitely helps you win football games, but ultimately I know it's going to help them be better men and also help us win football. And that's what we've been doing. We've been building the mindset, and we have a team that has a great mindset. The talent is catching up, with that. And we've always been able to win close games. I think it's because we're tight as a team. We don't have any cliques. We're a very close-knit group, but we're also very tough mentally and physically. We have that old school, blue collar mentality that I don't know any different. I only have one, speed, and that's full speed. And our team, obviously reflects that.
Yeah, no doubt, Johnny. Now, when you took over, what are the biggest changes besides culture? But I know that you've had some backing by your administration, and you've really improved your facilities.
Yeah, well, we just got new turf a little over a year ago. lights, turf, so now we can play night games. We have a, great facility, we can practice on and play games on, night games, all that stuff. And more importantly for the workouts, if you, in the winter, it's hard to work out on, in the mud. So that was huge. We have a football facility. It's like a mini push car facility, for Division II. We've got, my offices are here. I'm overlooking the field. We got our weight room, locker room, everything that's needed to, do our study hall here. We have meeting space. So we do everything right here at our facility. And I think that's one of the things that gives us an advantage as far as Division II school goes. We have one spot, one home where our guys can come, they can study, they can lift, they can work on their game, and they can meet with their coaching staff. And that's had a huge impact in getting the talent level up to where it needs to be to match that, that mindset.
Yeah, no doubt. So listen, we have a guy here, Joey Foster. He says, "Hey, Coach Pennington, what were your questions when you took over the team all those years ago?" That was 7 years ago, I believe. Knowing the challenges you face.
When can I start? I was so fired up to just, to be a head coach. I'd worked my entire career, and I knew that there would be difficulties, just like anything, but I know that I'm a problem solver and that I would find solutions. The main question I had was probably when are we getting turf? Because that was probably the biggest hurdle to overcome. And we were able to do that, and it was, but that part, honestly, I just told my staff, let's just keep winning. Let's keep winning. Let's keep graduating students. Let's keep doing things in the community, and something will happen. And that's honestly, that's what we ended up partnering up with the NFL with the Honey Bear Project and kind of found that accidentally. So it wasn't like we went out and just raised all this money. We kind of, found this, and then we ended up raising the money and making it work.
Well, that's really impressive. And I remember you coming in for the, you spoke at the WVU Athletic Academic Dinner down in Charleston, which Schmitty did this year.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure. I wasn't there, but I saw a picture with him with Ren Baker and Gordon Gee, and he had camouflage shorts on, like knee knickers. I don't know if he actually wore that in to do the speech. I'm going to have to ask him. But
he stayed on brand, Wolf. I mean, he was great. He was excellent. I loved his talk. I loved hanging out with him. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, anyways, I think your talk actually was one of the best ones I've ever heard. And it was like your first time. And you finished with yeah, it's my first time, but I kicked this can. And that told me all the attitude I needed. And it made me think back to that catch against Pitt and how you miraculously hung in the air with not a huge jump, but you were like hanging airtime, and you made that catch. It was unbelievable. I think that fits your whole personality, suits who you are. And again, before we break into your team down, and you tell us about the team, my last question, I think, then really is, how rewarding is it? Because my big thing at junior college, John was, as a head coach, was placing kids. Okay. Yeah. Placing them to 4-year schools. And I had so much joy out of it because I was in Central Phoenix. There were some stories there that, pretty moving that you think about. I'm sure you have some stories as a 4-year coach that you see lives changed. And just by the fact of a helping hand, a tough blow here, a stiff say, hey, you got to work harder, you got to get tougher, but it changes lives. What have you seen?
Well, we had 15 guys graduate a week ago, and I'm one of the best things about being a coach is your coach. Like, I'm going to be somebody's coach forever. Like my high school coach, Steve Edwards, I'll be 60 years old. I'll see him. I'll be, hey coach, how you doing? Like, you're somebody's, you're that part of their life forever. And I know specifically after the spring game, I was with our quarterback's mom. Our quarterback's going to be a 5th-year senior. I was talking to his mom, and someone needed to give the prayer before we could eat the post-game meal. And some of the players made him do it, and he just did it. And we were watching him. His mom was crying just because we looked at, we brought him in as an 18-year-old kid and was kind of shy. And then to watch him as a grown man give us, give the prayer for everybody there, and everyone looked to him to do it. And he just looked so mature and like an adult. And that was a special moment, just seeing how proud his mom was. And that, and he has great parents. I didn't make it add any values or anything like that, but we helped bring him along. And just to be part of that journey was special.
Okay, so I got another question for you. And the question is, how do you judge the success of the overall football program on the field and off?
Wow, that's a tough question. To me, it's just, are we walking the walk? I mean, you could break it down, wins, losses, graduation, all that stuff. But are we walking the walk? Are we doing what we say we're going to do, right? Are we putting an emphasis on, making players better men? Are we putting an emphasis on, being in the community and giving back and doing the things that, we say we're going to do? I think that's ultimately what makes anybody successful, right? If you are able to discipline yourself to do the things that, you should do. To me, that's success, and providing value to the school. And maybe those are general answers, and not what maybe people are looking for. But that's what I try to do, is provide value and do what I say I'm going to do. But ultimately, it's building a dynasty here. I want to win multiple championships. I want to build a dynasty, a team that's consistently winning championships. That is my that would be success for me as far as a outwardly goal.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. So let's get into 2023 here. What are you excited about? Let's start off with the offense, as you were a receiver. So you are the offensive coordinator, are you not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, that gives me a question right off the bat. I didn't even plan this one, John. What's it like for you to be the OC and head coach?
That can be difficult. You've got to you really have to prioritize one or the other, and there are times when you have to be more of a head coach, and the offensive coordinating can take a back seat, and that can cause some problems on the offense. And there's times when you get caught up in the offense and, you lose track of some head coaching things. So that's difficult. But when you have, that's why you hire great people around you, right? Because you can't do everything. But if you hire good people, you can delegate that stuff. You have people that can support you and help pick up the slack when needed. And that's ultimately, we have Ramon Lee as our co-offensive coordinator, played at Glenville, has done an outstanding job, and Andrew Workman is our run game coordinator. And I fall back heavily on those two constantly. And they called plays in the spring game, and they could call plays. I mean, we work very well together, and we just rely on each other when one of us needs to step up.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so when it comes time for a play call, who's making the final decision?
Yeah, I've called the plays, for all 6 years, but
I'm working
them into it.
I'm just making sure everybody knows it, because I tell you what, I had a similar situation. I was defensive coordinator. I did it for 2 years. I'm like, screw this, man. I can't be a head coach and a defensive coordinator, because I get caught up, and then all of a sudden something's going on over the other side. And you're a better man, better coach than I am, John Pennington, because I'll tell you what, I couldn't do them both. I had to be a head coach. So let's move on then. Offensively, what are you seeing here? What's going on at quarterback? What type of offense you run?
We're a no huddle spread offense, but we are, we go extremely fast. Very similar to Tennessee. We try to go as fast as possible. You can't do it on an incomplete pass, stuff like that. But if the ball's moving, we're moving as fast as we can snap the ball, as the refs will let us. Donovan Riddick is our quarterback. He was an all-conference player last year. He'll be a 5-year starter because of COVID. He got a half season in the spring, so he's played a lot of football for us, and he's one of the better players in the conference last year. I believe he'll be one of the better players in the country. So anytime you have that guy behind center, it makes life a lot easier. Your third downs, your red zone is always so much better. He's an incredible athlete, but he's even a better pocket passer. He can run the ball. He can take a 75-yard touchdown to the house. We don't do it a whole lot. We kind of save that for situational things, but he scores a lot of touchdowns. He throws a lot of touchdowns. It makes life a lot easier for all of us. So it starts there. But we had the number one rushing attack in the Mountain East and in the region, and we were number 22 in the country. So our running backs are back. Our quarterback's back. Our center is a first-team all-conference guy that's one of the best O-linemen in the conference. So, you think about up the middle, right? Your center, your quarterback, your running back. That's a good formula for a successful season on offense. And we got a lot of great receivers and weapons out there. We've got a lot of O-line coming back, and we've got multiple weapons. But it starts there up the middle. We can control that part right there. We're going to be in good shape.
That's a question here. Do you run a mesh system like Dana? I'm not sure what she means by mesh, other than the fact that I think that you're balancing your attack out. Even though you throw the ball out, you go fast, but you also like to run. Obviously, you like to run. I mean, I think that's – but you just keep blasting them, and they don't know what's coming. They don't know what's coming.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to be efficient in the pass game. I mean, it helps when you have a fifth-year quarterback, but, we don't have guys in the summer. You know what I mean? It's not like Division I. We get them in August, and we have to kind of build it all over again. And I think it's a lot harder to be efficient in the pass game than it is in the run game. If you're going to go fast, incomplete passes kill you. You can't go fast if you're throwing incomplete passes. So, we want to be able to run the ball, and we've got some good options to do that.
Okay. Well, listen, you said that you hire some really good people, and I like your coaches on offense. But I know there's one coach on defense that I gotta throw some love to, and that's Georgie Shell, right? Is he your defensive coordinator?
Yeah, George's been with me the entire time, all 7 years, and just me and him have been best friends since we were 18 years old and 19 years old at WVU. We kind of saw through Rich Rodriguez's program and Bill Stewart and all those guys how to. That's how we learned how to coach. That's our style. And we've been, kind of building this program together. So, I mean, that in itself is just a joy to do. But George is the best teacher of the game of football I've ever met. At any level, there's nobody better. I mean, he is incredible how he teaches the game, the fundamentals of the game, breaks it down way better than me than I ever thought about being in that area. And so the defense is we got a lot of guys coming back. We got some big time players on the perimeter or on the edge coming back, and our D-line is outstanding. So they're going to get some linebackers free, and we got some playmakers in the secondary. So early on, our defense last year was unbelievable. I mean, they were forcing turnovers, pitching shutouts, and then we got banged up a little bit and kind of had to hang on. So one of the emphasis for us has been developing some depth, and that way we can kind of sustain it throughout the whole year instead of falling off there towards the end.
All right. So let me ask you this. Then you mentioned with Rich Rodriguez and all, who do you like to model yourself after? Would you say Rich? I mean, is that what you're saying to me?
Yeah, definitely Rich. I mean, it's all who you were mentor. Rich, Steve Edwards, Bill Stewart. I mean, Bill Stewart was a very big role model for me. I looked at him as like, I want to be that kind of man. You know what I mean? I want to be that kind of leader. I want to be that kind of person. And of course, there's a lot of things from Rich that that are just ingrained in you as far as being tough, mentally, physically, pushing through adversity, those sort of things, and just having that one speed. That's how Rich was. There was no, it was nothing. There was no whoa, slow down. It was go, go, go. And so you kind of take little elements from every great coach you've been around. Don Nealon, I got to spend a year with him. Bill Struble. I don't know. A lot of people know him. He was the head coach for 30 years in this conference. I mean, Earl Monroe, Carl Lee. I mean, I've had great mentors, and I just try to take a little bit from each one of them and kind of, fit it into my style. I'm probably more of like a Dabo Sweeney type than a Nick Saban type. I'm a, love them tough, not a tough love.
Yeah, I'm more of a prick. I'm more of a Nick Saban. And Nick Saban, actually, when I was at WVU, his office at the Coliseum, because the football coaches were at the Coliseum back then, and I shared his office, so I had the living ghost of Nick Saban.
Wow.
I used to think, yeah, man, you know what? That's how I coach. Anyways, very good job. So let's go a couple more questions. Let's talk about what's your identity for your team. When you get up in front of them, what are you telling these guys? This is what I want from you. Go ahead. You're recruiting me to WVSU.
Well, we're the toughest, most connected team in the country. And that means that we're mentally and physically tough, that we're not just a team, a football team. We're connected. We play for each other. We fight for each other. We help each other. We work together to build something special. And that's a dynasty here at West Virginia State. I think that I think it's a competitive advantage in today's world if you can go out there and you can have discipline. You can handle stress. You can play through adversity or fight through adversity. And you come to West Virginia State, you're going to play in some big time games. I mean, we've had some night games here with conference championship things on the line, and we haven't won a conference championship here in a long, long time. We haven't won one ever in the Mountain East Conference, and when we do, it's going to be huge. And we've got all the pieces in place. We need you, Dale Wolfley, to help us take that next step. And if you can come in and and do what you say you're going to do, you're going to be a big part of that.
I got one play for you, Coach. I got one. I'll give you my all. I don't know what's going to be left of me after that, but I'll give you my all. Very good. I tell you what, I want to play for a coach like you. I know that for sure, because I think that's missing a lot in today's game. And when you think about the transfer portal and you think about NIL, is there any of that? That's mainly Division I for NIL and all that. But is there any way, is this game affecting in the Division II?
Yeah, the transfer portal is definitely affecting us. I mean, I like it personally as far as we're able to at least have one area where we can go and kind of look at different players that are going to be transferring. Of course, we have some that transfer, but I've been here a long time. We have a great culture. Like, we don't have a lot of guys that leave, for random reasons. I mean, if they leave, it's probably a legit reason, or maybe they're not quite good enough to play here as quickly as they want. That does happen, but it also gives us an opportunity to find a young man who deserves a second chance, or who maybe went into maybe his coach left, when he was recruited somewhere and he didn't fit in their system. I mean, those things exist. I mean, we brought in 6 guys in the spring, and man, they were outstanding fits in our program, and they were excellent. They were, some of our best players. So, I think when you get a chance to recruit these guys and find what's a great fit, it makes a big difference. And then really before the portal, you didn't really know a whole lot about these guys. Now it kind of gives you one spot where you can go and really dive into who fits your program best. NIL, we do have some NIL deals. We have a group that we work with that kind of handles all that. A couple of my friends that I grew up with have a law firm that runs NIL, deals. And we probably had 4 or 5 different people that have had T-shirt deals and little promotions where they do advertisements for companies. We had a couple restaurants feed our O-line, stuff like that. I mean, it's been neat. I think when you're in college, I mean, a pack of ramen noodles was a big deal. So you'll take just about anything. No one's making millions, but it's a great experience, and it's kind of nice to be rewarded for some hard work.
I can remember when I used to go with our offensive line, we eat every Thursday. I think it was Calasante's Pizza because they had the pizza buffet.
Oh, yeah.
And at first you're like, yeah, come on in. Well, then the brothers start coming in. They're like, okay, all right, only 1 hour, fellas. Only 1 hour can you stay. So get us out of there. There's no doubt. We used to, I think we all ate like 2 pizzas each. But we had to get carbs for the game, man. We had to get them up. That was Thursday night anyway. So, all right, John. So any memories there at WVU besides your catch, man, that share? Because I got one question for you about WVU, and this is my question going to be for the week. But any memories you want to share?
I had so many great memories. I mean, just the relationships more than the memories is what I carry with me as far as coaches, players, students, and I was in a fraternity, so I have fraternity brothers, just the experiences and the relationships, that I still have to this day is what I remember most. But, I do remember, I remember singing some karaoke at the back door with Quincy Wilson and Jonathan Crum. And we used to always go Wednesday night karaoke night at the back door. And, we had some good times there. I know the back door is closing, so I maybe think about it.
Saturday night was the last night, man.
Wow. They had a good run.
Yeah, it had a great run. And actually some Mountaineers showed up for that, Joe Pabian and all that. Well, okay, so here we go for the Mountaineers. Here's the tough question for you. Even though you are the head coach of another team, I believe you're sure you follow your alma mater. Okay, does the WVU football team, this is my question for the week for all Mountaineers, does it have to be blue collar to succeed?
I think that it does. And the reason that I say that is because, I love culture. I study culture, organizational culture. I've got a PhD in that. And culture cannot by itself create a competitive advantage. It has to line up with your strategy. And the culture of West Virginia, WVU, the history, that's just who we are, and your strategy needs to line up with that in some sort of way to create a competitive advantage. I truly believe that it almost has to be. I mean, maybe I think blue collar is a good word for it, but that gritty, hardworking, chip on the shoulder, we're going to prove everybody wrong, us against the world mentality, that you almost have to have that. And I think you have to build that as a coach a little bit and play that up, and I think that we do well in that role.
Yeah, John, I think you can beat a lot of teams with that are more talented than you.
Absolutely. I believe we do it at state. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, let me see. You got anything else going on in your life? Did you say something about opening up, getting some pump in, getting some workouts in? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm opening up a fitness studio. It's called HotWorks. It's a 24-hour infrared fitness studio. You work out in infrared saunas with virtual trainers. So there's a lot of like anti-aging elements. You kind of get a spa and a workout at the same time. You burn like double the calories, 15 to 30-minute workouts. I went and did one in Columbus because I'm getting older, so my knees are hurting, and wanted to find something to kind of help me, reduce inflammation, and found this HotWorks, and you're able to get a workout and, help your body feel better. It just, just such a unique concept. And, to be honest, Dale, me and my wife we want to stay at West Virginia State. I absolutely love it here. I love being home. I love raising my family here. I love the Division II level. I really enjoyed my time as a Division I player, but I just really like being here in Division II and having that impact and just staying somewhere and being a coach and a role model for young men, for years to come. So we figured we'd kind of cement ourselves and add to that and try to build something or bring something that has a positive impact to our community. And we think with HotWorks, we can do that. And a lot of people that, that want to burn calories and feel better. And, West Virginia is known for being, not the healthiest. And we wanted to bring something that could help, combat that.
All right. Well, I think I need some of that. I could use it, man. Can I eat a burger while I'm working out? Because I'm losing weight. Because you got all that infrared stuff going right in me. I could just eat while I'm there. I mean,
oh yeah, we just got to get you started, and then we'll cut the burger out later.
All right, brother. Well, listen, man. Hey, I want to wish you the best of luck. I think you're doing fabulous down there. I think you're a great representation for West Virginia State University. I do think you're going to win soon the way you want to win. The way you're staying with it, and that you're going to be there for a long time. You're telling a lot of kids a lot of things right now, saying we're going to be here, and we're going to stay here, and you're going to help us win, and we're going to help you win in life. And I think that's a huge thing. I really appreciate that. And being a head coach at Division II school, there's a lot of cool things to it. A lot of cool things. I even at junior college, there's some cool things to it. So it doesn't suck. And best wishes for you and your wife, your adventure. Getting it all fired up and getting the workouts, and hope you're really successful, brother. Hey, John Pennington, anything you want to add, brother, before I cut you off?
No, I mean, I just love shows like this, Dale. Like I did a show with Carl Lee the other day, and you guys are you're helping us promote West Virginia State. I mean, just it's just fun to come on here and hang out with you, and we'll have to one of these days I'll get to that golf tournament and actually get to hit a couple balls out there on the golf course.
I don't know. How's your game? Do you stink or are you good?
Absolutely terrible.
Good. I only like to play with terrible golfers. All right, man. Hey, John Pennington, head coach at West Virginia State University. Good luck to you, and we'll have you back, man. All right, WolfMan's?
Yeah, anytime.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
Thanks, Dale.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, that was pretty special. I'll tell you, do you not see how sharp he is? I mean, honestly, John Pennington, when I heard him speak at the West Virginia academic dinner, I was like, wow. I knew John. I didn't know him great at that time, but I could see that he's really impressive. And Georgie Shell was really says really great things. Georgie's my guy. We were up at WVU together, but he's a graduate assistant. And John Pennington's right. Georgie is a great teacher. Great. So that whole if you got to go to Division II, go to West Virginia State University. I'm telling you, you're being coached by quality people, man. That's what you want. You don't want to go with someone that's not going to be there or someone that's just used as a stepping stone. Go to somewhere that they want to invest in you as a player, as a person, making sure that you graduate and educate, because going to the NFL at any level is very, very difficult. And you need your education. That's what John Pennington is doing. So congratulations to them, and go West Virginia State University. That was really a cool interview. I enjoyed myself. So what's next here? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to talk about this. And on Tuesday, we have a show. We have Ken Marchiol coming in, and I'm going to tell you this. I was going to bring him on today, but the whole thing turned into something different. And when I say different, I'm talking that we started talking about, we're going to talk about his batteries. I'm helping him out with his rechargeable batteries. But we get talking about Nico and his background and wrestling and football. And it really turned into something that was really cool. So tomorrow is going to be, the feature is going to be with Ken Marchiol. I said today, but it's not happened, because tomorrow, Allan Johnson, there's been an issue in his family. He's not going to be able to make it. He said maybe later towards the weekend on Wednesday or Thursday, maybe next week. Tough times. Prayers for Al and his family. They need the prayers. So tough times for them. But we love Allan Johnson. He's my strength coach. He was a pump you up kind of guy, kind of a Mike Joseph, kind of a wild one here. But let's go ahead. Let's take a look at this, fellas and gals. This is Game Changer here. This is about preventing opioid and substance abuse misuse, especially with our youth and our teens. And I can't stress enough. So we're going to be down there at the Greenbrier Wednesday and Thursday, and we're going to be doing some interviews about some people that are there trying to help and find solutions. You know what? It's a fundraiser. If you can, we're going to be broadcasting. I'll tell you where you can go donate if you want to. But it's called Game Changer, and it's changing the game for this abuse. Our kids are getting abused. It's terrible. It sucks, to be quite honest with you. I'll just say it right out there, all right? Our kids are not having the opportunities to stay away from it, and I don't want to see this addiction continue on. Nobody does. Nobody in their right mind. So let's get with Game Changers Wednesday and Thursday, Greenbrier. I'm not sure what times they're going to be broadcasting because I think the first night we're going to be around the dinner time, the press conference, and then the next morning we're going to be out there for the golf tournament. And there's going to be a lot of people. So a lot of people that you're going to want to hear from. Coaches from Marchiol, coaches from West Virginia, politicians, Senator Joe Manchin and Senator Capito, and maybe even some others. So those are the people, Game Changers. They're affecting lives, and it's huge. Does anybody have any questions here? I see Keith here. He's late to the party. Let's see what he's got. I'm late to the party. John is great and has a wonderful family. He has established a culture at state, and it shows on the field. Well, Keith, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that West Virginia State is doing great. Hey, listen, if you got George Shell there right there with you, there's not many people better than Georgie, a quality human being. And I know John's pretty darn quality, and I'm seeing it more and more, and they're just showing. I'm telling you, I'm about this. I'm about West Virginia State, man. I really am. Hope I'm not. I'm trying to think. Do I know anyone else? I don't want to be impartial, or I want to be impartial. But I gotta have bias favor, right? I mean, he's a Mountaineer. He's a brother Mountaineer. How could I not be sitting there rooting for West Virginia State University and for all that they do and that they're doing it the right way? So again, anyone else? We have any questions before the day? Anyone want to come on? Listen, if you want to come on the show, if you want to talk, you want a question, you keep it respectable, you keep it all right. I'm willing to bring you on. If you're going to be cool, man, come on. I'll answer any question you want. Just because this is what I want the show to be. I want the WolfMan's Call to be about what you want to hear, what you want to know, and I'll answer as truthfully and best I can. If I can't answer it, I'm going to tell you, I can't answer it. Anyone else? I'm looking here. I'm looking down the line. Keith, you're late to the show. Joey, a lot of questions. Joey said that was a great interview. Thank you, Joey. I appreciate that. It wasn't me, the interview. I think that was more John Pennington for being able to talk so clearly, so well, and make a big statement. Because if I was listening to this and I was a kid looking to go to school, I'd be looking right there. West Virginia State, they've improved their facilities. They've improved. I mean, he's 27, 21. They never won. They never won. Ever won. You know how hard it is to change a culture? You know how hard it is? I do, because I had to do that at Phoenix College, even though it was a junior college, so it was a little bit shorter for me because I was only dealing with the 2 to 3 year kids instead of the 4 year schools where they're 4 or 5. So you really have to do a lot to change a culture and to change the ways to win. So heads up, a lot of respect. Anybody else? Am I going to play my commercials? Am I getting ready to leave? Oh, my commercials, where are they? Let's bring them up and say, I appreciate these people. Let's get them. And here we go. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 o'clock, Wednesday, Thursday. Not sure what time because we're going to be at the Greenbrier. But I will be out there. I'll be broadcasting to let you know, bringing you the best of what is going on to the show. And thank you, Joey, for a great show, Wolf. I appreciate it. But it's all about the guest. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, Ken Marchiol.
Dan Cava has the largest selection of new Camrys in the area, and with $1,000 off sticker price, now is the best time to purchase your new Camry. We also have a wide variety of Tundras, some featuring the all-new TRD lift kit. And don't forget, all new Toyotas come with 2 years or 25,000 miles worth of free service from our award-winning service department, which you can schedule online, by phone, or through the Toyota app. Come see us at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
Yes, it does, John Ray. Stationers, #1 office supplier in West Virginia, always in stock.